Jay Haynes for the Film Sensei YouTube channel. Recently, I posted this comedic video on my social media. Check it out.
Okay, so let's say you're down to your last sheet of toilet paper. Here's what you're going to do. You sort of place it right there like that, and then you just sort of refresh.
So this is actually a cute little effect that is fairly easy to accomplish. I have my raw footage. The first thing you'll see when I place my raw footage on here is that I started by dropping the toilet paper roll onto the counter. Then I went ahead and went through my routine talking about this and ultimately got to the point where I snapped my fingers and then I reached over and I picked up the toilet paper roll, which had already been dropped. So it's pretty easy to do. Let me show you the details of how this worked. First, I'm going to make a new composite shot. And as it turns out, it's about 20 seconds long. So I will just make this 20 seconds long. Let me drag in my footage. We will start by creating the dropping of the toilet paper. And I'm just going to come forward to the point where it hits right there. And I'm just going to slice that. Okay. And then it will roll. And I'm just going to come all the way until I start my routine, right? And that's going to be about right there. So I'll slice that. Okay. So this I'm going to call TP drop. And then this, of course, is the actual routine that's happening. Let me just put that underneath and let me grab, using the selection tool, I'm just going to bring this to here. And that actually ends up to about right there. Yeah, okay. And I say refresh. Okay. Maybe I could go just a smidgen further, but that's fine. Now, I need to create a clean plate that I need to cover this toilet paper roll while I'm going through this whole process all the way up until the finger snap happens. So what I'm going to do is come back to the beginning of everything and just slide forward one frame, and I will slice that frame. And I can delete the rest. I won't need that, but I will rename this clean plate. And using the rate stretch tool, I will go ahead and just expand that out. And I'll just make that as big as it can be here. So now it is a single frame that is hanging out there, okay? Let me put that underneath for just a second. Let's go ahead and set up the rest of it first. So I place that down, and then I go to snap my fingers. And it happens about right there. Yeah. Okay. So what I will now do, what I will do is just bring this up and put it there. Okay. That is when it drops like this. And what I want to do is I want to only mask out this section here where the toilet paper is. So let me, just zoom out a little bit, and I'm just going to place a mask, and I am going to be somewhat careful in that I want to kind of just follow along here with some of the lines that are naturally in the scene. Okay, and that will make it much better when it comes to matching things here. All right. So now if I go back to a scale to fit, you can see that things are looking pretty good. And then I will just snap and boom, that pops out. Okay. Now the only problem, of course, is that the toilet paper roll is sitting there. Well, that's what the clean plate is for. So let me just bring the clean plate to the top. And turning off the clean plate for a second, I'm just going to use a circular mask. And I'm just going to cover that. And then if I turn that back on, it will essentially make it invisible. Now, there's sort of a hard line there. You can see it. But if I go ahead and just feather that mask a little bit, maybe 20 or 30 pixels, something along those lines, then that looks pretty good. Now I want to make sure that I don't accidentally place my hand. And you can see my hand is just nicking the edge of that mask a little bit. So I don't want that. We'll have to slide this over. Whoops. We'll have to grab the mask and slide it over just enough, where it's not in the way. Okay, so now you can see that I've hidden where the toilet paper roll is actually sitting in this shot. I go through my routine. I come all the way down here. And then I say, snap my fingers, pow, and that's it. Now you'll see the mask, unfortunately, is covering, right? We don't want that, so I'm just going to put this below, and that ought to fix that, okay? But we will have another problem, and that is to sell this effect, I reach and I grab the toilet paper. Well, that's, our mask is covering that up. So at some point, the clean plate or the actual toilet paper drop will have to disappear. So what I'm just going to do is come to the very edge of this. Let me back up one, about right there. And that's about where I want it to disappear. And I could literally just slice that and, okay. And then, and of course the clean plate will have to disappear, but let me just turn that off for a second. But you can see that there's a little bit of a change in lighting and everything when that happens, so it's kind of obvious. So what I'm going to do instead is, as soon as this hits and stops moving, about there, then what I will do is keyframe the opacity of this, and then I will go to the very end, and I will make it 0. So it sort of fades over time through. Okay, now the only other problem is as it fades, of course, it reveals the toilet paper underneath. Okay, so what's going to have to happen is by the time we get to this keyframe, I need to have my clean plate covering that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, let me turn back on my clean plate. Remember the mask that we had there? I'm just going to have it slide down to there. So what I'll do is back up to page up, and I'm literally going to just keyframe the position, and then I will come to where I am starting there, and then the position of the key of the mask, I just want it to slide down to here. So that way it's covering that toilet paper roll from there, or that sheet of toilet paper from there. And now that I've done that, and I could have used 2 different clean plates, but since I had the one, it was all good. And now that I've done that, that should do it. It's really not hard to do. The trick is in the fact that the toilet paper roll kind of pops up as it bounces, and so it looks like it's popping up out of the table, basically, or out of that little sheet of toilet paper. And as a result, I get this cute little effect that plays very well. So if you like this kind of content, do me a favor and like this video, subscribe to the channel, click the little bell icon for notifications. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.